I have wasted hundreds of pounds on testosterone supplements, and honestly, it was the biggest scam that I could fall for because I was looking at the top 1 or 2% of that pyramid when my lifestyle was a complete mess. And the chances are you might be experiencing the same. You might be thinking, what are the best supplements I can take for testosterone? Because there's so much out there, obviously. So in this video, I'm just going to share what worked for me and some of the pitfalls you can avoid and some of the scams that you can avoid, because there are quite a few out there that preach so much but actually do fuck all. When I was skinny fat and my testosterone was at 270 nanograms per deciliter, I thought supplements were the solution. So I'd go onto Amazon, search up testosterone supplements, get one of those dodgy looking testosterone all-in-one supplements that probably had some illegal things in there as well. And I would just take that, and I'll actually show you the supplement that I was taking for a period of time that I thought would fix all my problems. It was this one. I was taking this for a good 2-3 months, and it did absolutely nothing. It was marketed as such a good solution to the issues that I was facing, the low testosterone issues that I was facing of no sex drive, no just muscle mass was wasting away, drive, overall kind of mental health, and my drive, just my fire in my belly. There was no fire in my belly. So this is the one I was taking for 2 or 3 months, and it really did nothing. The only thing that I would say it did was that placebo effect, and that's not what we're after, because you can get a placebo effect from basically anything. And a placebo effect, if you don't know what that means, is basically you think that it works, and so you reap the benefits of a supplement even though it's not actually doing anything. And that can have some benefits, but it's not a long-term fix, really. But however, it does highlight the power of belief and how actually powerful that can be sometimes. The thing I got wrong with understanding all this and falling into the trap of thinking supplements were the fix was this. So this is, if we think of this kind of pyramid shape as optimizing your testosterone, this little red triangle at the top is what I was doing when I was going onto Amazon and buying all those supplements and popping pills, tons of pills a day, like 5 different supplements that supposedly would have increased testosterone: tribulus, ashwagandha. I'd have the Shilajit, which is basically I'd have to have it an hour before my breakfast, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to have it an hour before food. So it's I'll talk about this later, but Shilajit is like a black tar that's found in the Himalayas. So it's quite rare, and it's not actually the best quality Shilajit is in tar form. So I literally was putting tar into hot water in a mug every single morning, drinking that. It was disgusting. I'd drink it and then an hour later have breakfast and then have all those supplements on top of that. So I was completely in that trap. I was completely obsessed with, I got to take all these pills, and I'd even have a habit tracker on my phone saying taking the pills. So that just shows you that I fell for the trap. That's why I created the community below in the description, which gives you all the tools and tricks that you need to fix your issue of low testosterone. So that will avoid you wasting all that money, basically. That's why I created it. Basically, this mindset of, if you see this triangle here, the blue is everything you can do to optimize your testosterone. The red is what I was doing by popping all those pills. So I was focusing on this top bit here where all of this was lacking. So the logical thing to do would have been to focus on this bit here first and then work my way up, like a kind of progressive overload, like how you would progressively overload in the gym. The first week that you're training in the gym, you wouldn't jump onto the squat rack and try and squat 100 kilos. You'd start, the logical way at least would be to start at lightweight that you can manage and then build that up. That's how people get injured. They work at a weight that their ego thinks they can do, but just because they can do it doesn't mean that they should. So doing too much too soon basically is kind of what every single injury is. So yeah, just understand this, that everything testosterone related is about focusing on this pyramid of sorts. So I've actually mentioned this a few times before. If you're a visual learner like me and you want to kind of visualize it, you'd imagine this foundation as the lifestyle and behavior you can do to benefit your testosterone, which I went over in the previous video. This one you would picture as your diet. This one you would picture as your supplements. So maybe it wouldn't be that one. And then the little top bit of that pyramid, that last quarter of that pyramid, or not quarter, but less than that, the fourth little block of that pyramid would be like prescription drugs. So if your testosterone is really fucked up, and if you're maybe over 30, maybe you go the TRT route, which you don't need to do if you're my age, if you're in your teens or early 20s. So the point of this is to really just give you a like TLDR, what's good, what's shit in terms of supplements. So the 80-20, what is the 20% that you can do to get 80% of the results? What's the Pareto's principle, which basically means the minimum effective dose, the least that you can do to yield the maximum results, which is what this means. I've split up supplements for testosterone into two kind of categories. I've found 6 for you, the 6 that I've used over the last year or so that have probably been the best for me, and I split it up into the first 3 is general health, and the second 3 is specifically for testosterone. So that targets your testosterone specifically, and the first 3 is general health, because obviously there's a strong correlation, there's a strong link between being healthy overall and your testosterone. So let's move on to the first 3, which is specifically targeting your overall health as a man. The first 3 we have are vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium. These are the specific brands that I took, and I'll also link these specific brands below just to take you straight to Amazon so you don't have to search it up on your own. These are the specific ones that I used. This one, vitamin D3 compared with K2, is basically very good for... MK2 is, I think, good for like unclogging your arteries, if I'm not mistaken. And vitamin D is basically one of those things that will have such a cascading effect on your life. I don't think there's an upper limit to what you can take. So I take a lot of this. I take 4 pills of this every morning, which is 16,000 IU, 16,000 IU, which has been shown to, there are some people who take much more than that. And there's no real negative side effects of that. So vitamin D3, bone health, immune system function, testosterone function, and your and mental as well. So it'll improve your mood. And basically that's so important for people to take, because a lot of the time we're inside and we don't get enough sunlight exposure. And vitamin D is what you get from the sun, basically. So you just need to take a lot of a shit ton of that. I think someone told me once that vitamin D even prevents cancer. So vitamin D is a must, really, I think, for everyone. And zinc as well, very good for testosterone, immune system function, and magnesium, sleep quality, bone health. I think this also lowers SHBG, which I'll describe soon what that does specifically for testosterone, because that's quite important for the next 3 as well. But magnesium is good for, immune system. I normally take that before bed, and that will just repair muscle damage as well on top of that. A lot of these, actually, there's downsides to a lot of these, especially the next few we're about to go into. The first time you start taking them, it probably will make your poo a bit running, so that's a bit of a downside. But taking these at the right time is also quite important. Like, I'll take most of mine in the morning, where I don't really mind taking a few shits. Specifically, I remember when I started taking ashwagandha, that would really fuck up my bowels. So we'll go into the next 3 now. So these, as I said, more specific to testosterone specifically. So to give you a quick rundown as to what SHBG actually does, which it stands for sex hormone binding globulin. So SHBG will bind to testosterone and basically make less testosterone available in your body. So the more you have of this, the less free testosterone you'll have. So SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, binds to free testosterone, binds to testosterone and as a result, less testosterone is available to use. So free testosterone is basically what your body uses. Total testosterone is think of it as like the pool of testosterone. A lot of that is bound to SHBG, and only about 1 or 2%, only 2% of testosterone actually is what your body uses. So when you look at your total testosterone, if someone's total is 500 nanograms per deciliter, they don't use all of that. They use 2% of that, which is probably around the range for free T is between 5 and 20 nanograms per deciliter. So out of 500 nanograms per deciliter, you'll be using between 5 and 20. So such a small percentage of that total is what your body actually uses. And by lowering this SHBG, which is what this does, you release more free testosterone by decreasing SHBG. So you have more free testosterone to use, which as a result increases your free testosterone. So I got tested recently for free testosterone, and mine was 21, so outside of the range. So the range for my age has been 5 and 20, and mine was 21 nanograms per deciliter. So this is very good. I've used this a lot, and this actually works. So it won't necessarily impact total testosterone, but it will reduce SHBG, which increases free testosterone. I hope that makes sense. I'll find another picture just to show you, just to describe it better. So yeah, here, look at this. So you can see here in this little pie chart, this is your SHBG bound testosterone. So your body doesn't actually use that. This is bound to albumin. This is your free T. And you can see here that it says SHBG binds to 50% to 60% of total. Albumin, which is something else that binds to testosterone, binds 40 to 50%. So yeah, here, if I can show you that, that says that free T is about 1 to 2%. That's the unit. That's not in nanograms per deciliter, but it's about 5 to 20 of this, which is total. So 98% of testosterone is protein bound. So that means that your body can't actually use that unless it's freed up by supplements like that. So it's a bit of a cheeky one, but it's quite good. This one, where the hell's my writing gone? Oh well. This one, ashwagandha, actually does something quite interesting. So if you don't know already, there's an inverse relationship between cortisol and testosterone. Cortisol is your stress hormone. So if you're stressed more, your cortisol will be higher. Ashwagandha decreases your cortisol. So it kind of emotionally blunts you. A lot of people have said that kind of gives you an emotionally blunt feeling. I've taken this, and I don't know if it was placebo or not, that I felt emotionally blunt, because I did feel a bit emotionally blunt. But then when I stopped taking this, I kind of realized that I was emotionally blunt anyway. So that just might be a me thing. But there's been a lot of research showing that this, I don't know why I'm doing so many arrows, but there's been a lot of research showing that this is very good for lowering that cortisol, that stress hormone, which gives you more testosterone. So there's an inverse relationship. It kind of works like that. So if you've got a lot of stress in your life, if you've got a lot of things going on in your life, then this is something that you can try. A lot of the time with these supplements, I always struggle with knowing whether it's placebo, like it's a belief effect, or it's actually working. That's why in the next slide I'm going to give you a little tip, a little method that you can use to figure out if it's actually the supplement doing the work, so you know which one specifically is working. So it's not just you taking all of these and just assuming that it's working, because if you start taking all these 6, you'll probably notice some differences, but you won't know which one specifically makes the biggest impact. So I'll tell you how to do that in the next slide. But this is good for stress and cortisol. This last one, Shilajit, there are some downsides to this, like the price, like the efficiency of taking it. It's not very efficient. You have to put this resin, which is like a tar kind of material, it's probably the best way I can describe it, into boiling water. So you have to boil water. You take a little scoop of this thing and you put it into the boiling water, and the black tar kind of dilutes into the water, and then you drink it. So it's not the most flashy supplement to take, but this has been shown a lot of the time. But there's been a lot on this actually showing that it does impact testosterone positively. But as I said, it's something you can try. It's something I did last year for 2 months. And I was taking so many supplements, actually, to be honest, that I didn't know if it was working or not. But I've kind of split this into the biggest 3 that the research has shown that will impact your testosterone. I would say that the most research specifically has been done on this one, and these 2, Shilajit and stinging nettle root, are more kind of niche and specific and unique. There's been less research showing that those 2 make a difference. Ashwagandha, there's been a lot of research on. So how will you actually know that? How will you actually know that it's working? So if you just take 6 or 8 supplements at once because you're worried about your testosterone, you think it's low, you just start taking 6 supplements, say, you won't know which one is making a difference, because I'm sure you'll feel something. You'll feel the shits a lot of the time, but you'll also feel better overall day to day probably as well. So the best way of finding out which one actually works for you and to get the most bang for your buck and to not waste money on all of these is just to take one at a time. So periodizing it means that you just take it one at a time. You reduce the variables by taking more than 5 or 6 at a time, and you just take one at a time. And I would say take it for at least 4 weeks. So that gives you enough time for your body to kind of absorb that and to kind of for your mind for your brain to see if it actually works or not. So I would do that. So I would start with one of the 6 that we've discussed already, and just start taking that for at least 4 weeks, and then you can come to the conclusion at the end of that 4 weeks. If you can come to the end of that 4 weeks and say, oh, I felt my mood's been a bit better, or my energy's been a bit better, keep taking it, and then stack on one of the other ones. So any other one that you want to try, start taking that, and then you can come to that end of the 4, and then as you come to another end of the 4 weeks, you can decide whether that's actually something you want to keep doing or not. Because obviously it's expensive if you do all of this, and you want to make the most. You want to get the most bang for your buck. You don't just want to be taking them just because you think they work, and they might not work for you. You might not have enough stress in your life to take this, and if you don't, there's no point. So don't waste your money on this if your life doesn't actually require you to take that. So if you really don't want to waste your money on all of this, then in the description there's a community that you can join that's basically targeted at improving your low testosterone, at completely fixing this issue, because it's something that I faced last year and it really fucked up my life. So I made this community to help people who are facing this issue, because I think fixing this issue of low testosterone and low sex drive, low motivation, low strength, low self-esteem will prevent suicide. I think it's that important to nail on for young men, because the whole kind of agenda of our modern world is pushing the testosterone down and down and down. Netflix, media, junk food, it's all pushing it down. So it's something that actually it's bigger than just helping a few people. I think it's a new kind of influx of better men, a better generation of men. Something quite interesting I learned from a book called Hard Times Create Strong Men. And that basically, the author Stefan Darnio, I'm pretty sure, talks about how there's an 80-year cycle. So every 80 years, history repeats itself. There's a major war or negative thing that happens to civilizations. Every 80 years, history repeats itself. So in 1860, you had the American Civil War. In 1940, obviously, you had World War II, which was pretty bad. And then in 2020, so it's 80 years after this, you had Ukraine war, COVID. We've got all the Israel-Palestine stuff. So this is 80 years. This is 80 years. And basically every 80 years, the cycle is hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and then it goes back to hard times create strong men. And currently we are, I believe, at the hard times create strong men. So it's been a hard time the last probably 4 or 5 years, because of all the shit that's gone on, COVID, all the wars that have kicked off. So this is the hard time, and we are currently in this process here where I believe that we are creating, or the world is creating, the strong men. And then eventually the strong men will create good times, and the good times will create weak men. So that's an interesting cycle. I don't know if hopefully I described that well. But it's 80 years because the children of each generation, so a generation is about 40 years, the children of that generation will swing in the opposite direction. So if, for example, now is the hard time, people will start rebelling and will start getting stronger because of these hard times. So it takes 40 years for the narrative to switch. So that's quite interesting. I don't know, how the hell did I get to that? Yeah, it was my rant about testosterone and how important I think it is. But if you want to join, the link's in the description. I'm pretty guaranteed that it's going to completely fix your issue of low testosterone. So if it doesn't work, you get a full refund plus £5, because it's definitely going to work. That's all from me. Until next time. Bye.